The Akaka kingdom had a class system. There were the freeborns, those were people who were referred to as sons and daughters of the soil. And then there was the Osu people. There are many different reasons why a person can be an Osu, but the end result is that that person is not a freeborn and therefore considered a second-class citizen of that land. Ego was an Osu. She was a beautiful, hardworking, intelligent young girl. All she knew was that her family was kicked out of their home when she was a baby. Her parents did not talk much about the incident as it made them sad. Not wanting to upset her parents, she never pushed them to tell her what happened. So for years, they lived on the outskirts of the Akaka kingdom as second-class citizens. At the center of the kingdom was Eze Onyeka. King Onyeka brought peace and prosperity to his people. He was loved by all. The only problem was that he was yet to marry and produce an heir. King Onyeka was betrothed to Adugo, the first daughter of the Onuwu, the head of his cabinet members. He was to marry Adugo when she turned 18 years. Adugo was now 20 years old and there was no wedding arrangement in sight. Onyeka's mother did not like this. She wanted grandchildren. When she asked, Onyeka said his heart already belonged to someone else. That someone else was Ego. For the past year, Onyeka had asked Ego many times to marry him, and each time she refused. She said she was an Osu and his people would not accept the union. Onyeka did not see it that way. He didn't mind. Word of this got to Adugo and she was enraged with envy. She, a freeborn, the daughter of the Onuwu, who is linked with royal blood, to be rejected for an Osu girl was unheard of, when she has already paraded herself as the future queen to all and sundry. One night, Adugo hired 4 men to kill Ego. The next evening, as Ego was on her way home from the market square, the 4 men kidnapped her. They took her deep into the evil forest. One of them wanted to kill her immediately. 2 others wanted to harass her first. Ego was scared, she was crying and she was begging for her life. Instead of this, she said, "Then kill me." As they were about to attack, an old woman appeared before them. She seemed to come from nowhere. She called out Ego and stretched out her hands. She said, "Ego, come, come, take my hand and follow me." The 4 men turned in surprise at the woman upon hearing this. The next 2 closest to her stretched out their knives to kill her, but she raised her staff and turned them to stone. The other 2, upon seeing this, ran away. They were terrified. Ego was also scared and was about to turn and run off, but the woman called out, "Ego, come." And the woman smiled and stretched out her hands. Ego turned and looked at the woman, and for some reason, she was no longer scared. The woman guided Ego out of the evil forest. They came to a path and the woman said Ego was to take the left path and in no time she will be home. As Ego turned to thank the old woman, she had disappeared. Because of fear, Ego ran straight down the left path to her home. When she got home, she told her parents all that had happened. Her parents told her not to tell anyone. When Adugo realized that Ego was still alive, she told the whole village that Ego had been harassed by not one but 4 men and was therefore not worthy to be anyone's wife, let alone the king's wife. This brought great shame and sorrow to Ego, as everyone talked behind her back as how she had lost her flower and was less than others. The king heard this and went to Ego immediately. She cried bitterly. She told him everything that had happened. The king told her to stop crying. He will get to the bottom of the matter. He will not abandon her and he will still marry her. He still loves her. At this point, everyone thought the king was either mad or bewitched. The next morning, the queen decreed that Ego and her family should be banished. The king countered this. As the king and his cabinet members were deliberating on this issue, an envoy of men from the Umu kingdom arrived at the palace. They told the king that they were looking for Ego's father. They were told he lived in the Akaka kingdom. The envoy was then directed to their home. Once there, the envoy of 20 men knelt before Ego's father and said, Igwe, please forgive your people. Have mercy on us. They explained that Ego's half-uncle had falsely accused Ego's father and he was then banished. After much investigation, it was revealed that Ego's father was innocent. He had to come home immediately because since he left the Umu kingdom, his people have been suffering. This meant that Ego's father was the king of the Umu kingdom, a kingdom that was twice as large as the Akaka kingdom. It was very powerful, to the point where it was the Umu kingdom that offered protection to the Akaka kingdom. This then meant that Ego was the princess of such a powerful kingdom. Many people were shocked to hear this. Adugo heard this and was bitter. Everyone had stopped talking about Ego's attack, but were now talking about how she was the princess of such a powerful kingdom. The night before Ego and her family were to leave for the Umu kingdom, Adugo went to a medicine man that night. She asked him that she wanted something to use and kill Ego before the crack of dawn. The man looked at Adugo and then looked at the old woman standing next to Adugo. The man then looked at Adugo and said, "Did you come here alone?" Adugo said yes. Why would he ask her such a stupid question? Then the man looked at the old woman beside Adugo. The woman looked at him and he looked at her. And then the man asked again, "Did you come here alone?" At this point, Adugo was getting angry. She shouted, "Yes, give me what I want." And the man said, "My child, the person you are trying to kill, her ancestor is standing next to you. Desist from this act. These people are powerful." Adugo, not believing him, left in anger and went to another medicine man. This time, he did what she wanted. He gave her a charm and told her when she administers this charm, no one should see her, otherwise she will become blind and sick. Adugo went home. At the back of her house, she administered the charm. She called out Ego's name 3 times and said, "Before the crack of dawn, you will die." As she was done and turned, her foot hit a stone. Immediately the stone made a noise, and before Adugo's eyes, the stone turned into one of the men she had sent to kill Ego. The man stood up and said, "What have you done, Adugo?" And then he turned and ran to the palace. Adugo, in shock, collapsed. In fear, she screamed. As she tried to stand up, she noticed that she couldn't see anymore, and then she called out for help. When the man got to the palace, he confessed that Adugo had asked him and his friends to kill Ego. When Adugo was summoned, she confessed as well. At this point, she was blind and sick. Her skin had started peeling and she was smelly. Because of this heinous act, the king banished her and her father from the kingdom. At the crack of dawn, Ego set back home with her family. When they got to the Umu kingdom, they were ushered into the palace. Up in front of them, at the center of the palace, was a picture of her grandfather and her grandmother. And there she saw the face of the woman who had come to her that night to rescue her from the four men. The next weeks was the wedding ceremony of Ego and Onyeka. Under their rule, they banished the outcast system and both kingdoms became even more stronger. Thank you so much for listening to this short episode. Please leave in the comment section what you learned from this short story. Thank you so much for those who have subscribed. Thank you for the support. For those who are just coming newly, you just heard my voice. Please, if you have reached the end of the video, kindly subscribe, like, and leave a comment section. Thank you. Until next time. Bye.